This is a vocal re-record, and I guess I didn't have my mic on when I was recording, so welcome back to another episode of Back to Square 1.1. We do have quite a few things to talk about in this episode, so we're going to start off by going into talking about evolving and skilling up, monsters you need, more about the challenges and room sets. There's no better way of understanding about evolving and skilling up your monsters with a visual representation of it. So I was doing that in this video. Not quite sure what I was talking about at this point of the video, but once it gets to that point where we actually get onto the power up circle, here we go. I'm gonna choose the monster that I decided to use to evolve or skill up or something like that. That's coming up. Yeah, okay, so I chose Shannon, and she's already a max 3-star. So I'm thinking I was going to skill her up, or maybe I was evolving her at this point, which you need multiple monsters of the same star grade. So since she's a 3-star, it show you that you need 3 3-stars to evolve her into a 4-star. So the extra monsters you place in those spots, it'll show you how many when you choose your maxed leveled monster for whatever the monster is. So there's a max level for each star grade. 1 star is max out at level 15, 2 stars at 20, 3 stars at 25, 4 stars at 30, 5 stars at 35, and 6 stars where you finally max out at is at 40. So since we're using a 3-star monster, we're going to need 3-star monsters to evolve it. They don't have to be maxed, just the monster that you're evolving to a 4-star. So with 1-star monsters, it would take 1-star monster, 2 stars, 2 stars, and so forth and so on until you get to the max 6-star. So we're going to do that here when I eventually hit the button. There we go. Yeah. So after we get through this point, we go back and we're going to skill up Shannon. So with the skill up, you need, like I said previously, I believe in a video, you need to have a monster of the same monster group. Shannon is a wind pixie, so any kind of pixie, no matter the attribute, is fine to give her level up on her skill. We're going to choose Shannon. Choose Shannon. Come on, gamer. Do it. There we go. Good, gamer. And we're going to choose the fire wind pixie that we have in the box and use that not only to give her experience, but to give her 1 extra skill up so her skills can be stronger. Okay, gamer, you can do it now. Come on, press the button. Press the button. I wish my audio didn't die on me. You guys don't know how much pain this is right now for me. Happen to re-record. But anyway, we're going to continue to make this as good as we can possible for you guys, because that's called dedication, and I love you guys so much. So at this point, I start talking about the monsters you need to improve in the game and get a little further. So I go through the little box showing you the monsters you get from the challenges, and all these monsters are critically important for the next level of progression, mostly due to essence farming, so you can awaken your monsters so they're not sleeping no more. They awake. You got the purple stars. They're a lot stronger. They're a lot better for you in the fight, and all of that good stuff in that nature. So I go back into the challenges and kind of just show off, just letting you guys know. You look through them, it show you what you need to do in the challenge to get the monsters, where you need to go. You get Shannon and Bernard for the Giants challenge because they are critically important for your Giants progression, which your Giants progression is the first area. Well, after you get through scenario progression, it's the first area of getting into that mid-game phase. And then for your attributes, each attribute give you a specified monster to handle that attribute. The fire giving you Konamiya, the water Garuda, and you just gotta clear that 3rd floor without any friends' help, which is not too bad. You can do that with 3-star, 2-star, rooms that's half-ass, and that's what I pretty much did on that account. Then you have the Dark Salamander, whatever its name is, where you had to clear the third floor of the Hall of Water. This monster provides dots. Me personally, I like to harvest the Wind Elemental. He's a lot better. He gives you 2 dots, but this game gives you an already awakened monster, so it makes it a lot easier for you to farm. So I will stick with that monster instead. Then moving on. Okay, now Colleen, the Fire Harpoon, which is help you for the Hall of Wind, and then we got the monsters for the Hall of Light and the Hall of Dark, which I kind of go through that really quick. But those monsters is going to help you do those areas of the game pretty easily for the most part. Then you probably wouldn't take them no more than like to a 4-star max grade. The only ones that you will really focus on later into the game will be Colleen, the Fire Harpoon, and Konamiya, the Water Garuda, because they're both great for raids, and Colleen can work for you in Necro as well, and both of them are good in TOA, which will be in later videos. So I like to lock my monsters just to make sure I don't feed them by mistake, and all of these are monsters that's going to be in your box that's going to kind of take up space as well, so you don't want to mistakenly feed these because they're, once again, great for your progression. For the next part, I want to briefly discuss about what each monster kind of brings to the table, because each hall of attribute has something that it does. Like the fire puts bombs on you, the dark puts dots on you, the water has a lot of HP, so you will need to apply dots to the water to pretty much drain the HP fast. And then the wind heals, so you will need recovery block. And then the light has really high defense, so you have to ignore defense. And in each of the next part of the challenges, you have to do those things in order to meet the requirements, so you won't have to worry about that too much. So we're going to go on and jump into the rooms after this. Hope this part was understandable. Try to explain this as clearly and as concise as possible due to just not being able to have the original audio, but that's okay. At least the audio quality will be better this time around anyway. Thank you for the person that pointed out the audio quality was lacking a little bit. I appreciate the feedback and the feedback that everyone has been given so far on the series. I want to make this as good as possible for everyone to enjoy and learn, and all that good stuff. So moving on to those nice little rooms and everything. This part I just had to re-record. The vocal quality might not be as good, but hopefully it's better than what it was previously. But I had to just re-record because when it came to the rooms, I'm not exactly sure what I was talking about in this video, and I'm definitely not sure where I should go from me trying to voice record over the previous video. So we're just gonna go ahead and re-record from here. I've made some changes because I've been playing this account a little more, so me trying to explain might be a little different, and really I just gotta figure out where I even left off at. But I know as far as rooms go, you are looking for specific things for certain monsters. Generally, when you're starting off, you're working towards getting your first 3 swift sets, and I say 3 because you're building one for Bernard, the Wind Griffin, Bella the Lighting Ungami, which we don't have yet on this account, and Konamiya, the Water Garuda, which will be switched over to Veramos, the Darkest Freak, later once that monster is fused. And you're generally using the same kind of builds because they're mostly monsters to support you, which he's actually a support monster. I think he is too. Yeah, but they're monsters to support you, so they're generally are built with speed in slot 2. especially Bernard, because Bernard is your attack bar boosters, and monsters that have skills like his third one that gives you extra turn, well, gives you turn efficiency, which he boosts your attack bar, which increases your chances of getting the next turn, and give you an attack speed boost for 2 turns. You want these monsters to be first in turn order in rotation, so you generally give them your fastest runes, which Swift gives you that bonus of that 25% speed, and on top of having speed in slot 2, and then you're going HP percent for slots 4 and slot 6. And that's the general rule of thumb for monsters like this. There is variations of builds, but this is the typical one that you're going to use when you start off. That's what's important. And like I said in the previous video, the 1, 3, and 5 slots main stats doesn't really change. The only thing that's different is the sub stats you get, which start to reach an importance. And usually monsters that are supporters, if they are monsters that like this one that has skills that grants debuffs, like his second skill giving you power and attack power and a defense break on the enemy for 2 turns. You want to build these monsters with some form of accuracy. You want them to have some kind of accuracy, and going into that giant's progression, you want to shoot for 45% accuracy for your supporter monsters. That goes along with Shannon as well. And your general build for Shannon is usually a full energy set. You can also put her on Swift, but instead of trying to farm for 1,000 Swift runes that you're not going to get and it's not going to be decent, you can fill her in with full energy. Generally, once you start getting good runes and farming giants, you put her on Despair, and she'll be your first Despair monster because she has skills. She has a AoE skill, and generally people put monsters with AoE skills that damage the enemy on Despair because it's a whole area of effect. You nuke them, you can possibly stun them, which is her second skill. And this is kind of how runes relate to monster skills, because it's more important for you to rune your monsters according to their skills rather than their actual type. Because you have monsters like what I don't have. I guess I can show an example. Click in here. See if I can find them. Move too fast. Yeah, like the Fire Sylph Beretta. Like, he's an attack-based monster, but people build him as a support monster just because his skills have lots of support utility. His third skill, Phoenix Fury, which applies 2 dots on an enemy for 3 turns, which is an AoE skill, so a lot of people build him on Despair. Usually he's the monster that you switch over Shannon's runes later for Despair, or just find a whole new Despair build and everything like that. And then his Turbulence, which is kills the enemy's attack bar. So these are like utility based skills, not generally skills that you would need for an attacker. So with skills like these, you generally build monsters like that as a support. But that's a little bit beyond the point of where we are currently now. The more bigger focus with your monsters and the way you rune them is to make sure they're doing a great job. Now, for Shannon in particular, you generally ruining her with full HP just because you want her to survive. Her speed doesn't matter as much until you're able to get decent enough runes to where you can start pushing her speed to being faster. Now, the reason why you do want to eventually get her a speed rune is because of turn order. And when it comes to turn order, your attack bar boosters, like Bernard for instance, go first. Right after your attack bar boosters is your skill buffers, like Shannon, which gives you the defense buff and attack buff, go next in the rotation. After that will be your debuffers, like where are you? Whenever we get Belladon, the Lighting Nugami, will be the ones that go next, like healer debuffers or whatever will go next in rotation, just so they can get the monsters. Like Bella has a defense break on the first skill, which will go third in rotation, and then after that you will have like your attackers that will be last in the rotation, which generally are your slower monsters. Usually the slower monsters, like Lapis being the main damage dealer here. Now we did go as further as to clearing the faster training, whatever the. Let's just take a look at it, just so I don't sound like a complete idiot. Oop, wrong area. The challenge. Oh yeah, fast leveling strategy. We did go into clearing that, but we'll talk about this in another video as well. This is why she has that Vampire Revenge set, which comes in handy for early game grinding, which we didn't have when I first started the game. You wasn't able to have stuff like this. But they give you a speed, crit damage, attack build for, which is pretty cool. I mean, it doesn't give you the greatest of end-all stats, but it's something decent enough to keep you going, and she's able to keep herself alive for the most part. So that's pretty cool for this monster. Especially it pairs well with her third skill, already giving you the ability to heal yourself back up. Now, this is kind of somewhat of like the runes in relations to skills. We're going to dig deeper into it in another video, because there's so much with runes that we're going to pretty much be talking about those throughout the whole series. So I hope this has been beneficial to you guys in somewhat. I do apologize for the beginning parts of the video, me not having my audio on. And this is the Gamer Dude signing out. I will see you guys in the next episode. And I'm out. Deuces.